Hey everybody, Charlie 902 here, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. When we last left off, we found a coin under a stake and found out that the soldier had tried to steal this coin from the old antiques collector. Let's continue on with the case. I think we're about to wrap up here with this case at least, and let's see what happens. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time. Well, Miss Brett. Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. Ooh, there he is with that. Ooh, slamming the head down. May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, Your Excellency? Indeed. The theft of the Koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby-saddled sergeant, which certainly appeared to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. Now, you guys think everything is unrelated. How about you should think everything is related until proven not to be? Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. The nonsense, is it? That proves it's not the stake, it's the other one. Well, oof. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Very well. Now all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered. I see no further justification for detaining her. Unless... Miss Brett, you are free to leave. No, don't let her free to leave. Good luck, everyone. And good day. Objection. Call objection. What's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming. Oh, no. It's just... something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. I can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. Something didn't quite add up. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking, make your voice heard. Sorry? You can think later, but if you don't call out now, it'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett. What is it now? I'm afraid, just one last time, there's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction?
Objection!
What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Ryu? Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. It's got to be the steak part, right? Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see evidence, counsel. Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory. Where is the evidence to prove it? Was it the steak part? Picking up a steak? Let's look at the steak. Picking up a steak and biting it without using a knife and fork. Okay, we know we can lift it up. The coin is still under there. Is there anything else? And look at that. This emblem on the side of the plate. Is it a cat? No. Why would you think that's a cat? It's a cow, obviously. Most likely because the restaurant's signature dish is beefsteak. Seems a lot of different restaurants have their own unique tableware. So this is a symbol of La Carnival, isn't it? Yes, yes, yes. Can't look at the steak anymore, right? She said it's absurd hiding a coin under a lump of meat and biting your steak without using a knife and fork. Why can't I can't rotate this back to way I want it. All right, let's look at the other picture of the steak. So clearly a knife and fork was used for this steak. And the knife has been used. Is this what we're talking about? This has to be what we're talking about. She said biting your steak, meaning it wasn't her steak. Okay, so I believe it's this. It's the picture showing that there was a knife and fork used. Present. Photographic print of the scene taken immediately after the incident occurred? Yes. What's interesting is the plate of steak that you can see on the victim's table. The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed. Yes, go on. More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs. Not true. Doesn't something about this steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it has been eaten. Uh-oh, she knows it. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett. Notice what exactly, Counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself. Then take a good look at this steak. In particular, the edge where it's been eaten. Man, I really want a steak right now. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. Ah, oh. Looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, then there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all. But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry and couldn't help. Oh, whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Of course, of course. This will all be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place. Nope, Swan's pissed again. I've heard enough, you irritating little spectacled samurai relic. Man, she is racist. Of course. Dear lady. What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Quite literally, I'm afraid. Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She realized the catastrophic implication these teeth marks in the steak have for her. Ryu, do you know where you're going with this? Yeah, 100%. Yes, now at last, it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in a steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the blood stain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept that these teeth mark mistakes are a little unnatural, as you put it, Counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase. Typical Japanese empty threats. How can you be so sure? Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Has it been? What? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
Objection!
That's absurd. The trial has run several hours already. And you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? There can't be. I don't believe you have it.
Objection!
I don't have it. But there's someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. It's the inspector. And if that person is willing to submit that piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. He's got the finger pointing. Very well. I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about the whole affair? This guy does. Present.
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it? You said you did. Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. Cough, cough, cough. No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention's been focused on this steak with the teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak, and as well as admitting to stealing Kurokoda-san's coin, he told us that he slipped it under the steak. You watch it, cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the steak that you put the coin under, in fact, your own steak? Attention! Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentle lady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
Objection!
But that makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's table.
Objection!
Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Is everybody here just an idiot? Like, clearly he took both steaks and he submitted the wrong steak as her steak. Exactly. Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two steaks over. Yes, he did. Really? Everybody's surprised at that? You did switch the plates. Well, after it happened, the sergeant did, not the inspector. When I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my steak and hid the coin underneath it. But then when the waiter announced he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. So you switched the steaks? Okay, I assume the inspector just mixed them up when he grabbed them too. Grabbed both of them. With military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the other one on the foreign lady's table. What? You can have. I never saw you do such a thing. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. He made an operation for it. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done. Unbelievable. However, fear not, prosecutor-san. What now? I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform. That's all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant.
Yes!
So, if Sergeant knows to switch the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate it was on back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. To preserve evidence. You had taken both. Uh-oh, she's reeling. That's correct. Then please present it to the court now. Oh, super finger pointy of justice. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot. What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat, it can't have the slightest bearing on the case.
Objection!
No, you're not wriggling your way out of it this time, lady. Uh-oh, she's hurting. I beg your pardon? Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why this steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you, no? You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see the plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. Tisk thinks he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. Listen to that music. It's got me pumped. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear spattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let us not prolong this any further. Man, y'all prolong everything. Any little saying takes 50 minutes to do. Inspector, will you show the evidence to the court? Present the beefsteak and plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. Yes, sir. That was a little anticlimactic. Well, look, there's clearly blood here. Sorry for keeping you. Here's the other steak and its plate. Please, feel free to examine it. It's a big steak, too. The blood stain. It's clearly visible, look.
Yes!
Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim. It can't be. In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. That's right, Miss Giselle Brett. It's you. Finger point of justice. Uh-oh, she's gonna lose it. Oh no, the swan. Outdone by a Japanese? Me? By a Japanese schoolboy? No, no, no! Don't be racist. Oh goodness, that thing's so mad. Did it just poop out a chick? A few chicks. Aw, this is a cute one. They're so cute. How can you get more dramatic than that? Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me. Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth this time. Gladly, Your Excellency. And she's gonna make up another story, isn't she? It was I who took the professor's life, using Curer. As you surmise, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So he planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water, because Curer is unheard of here in Japan. Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water and it would all be over. I would place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he'd been dining alone, and leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose? Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. I planned to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of Curer in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt. Under your skirt? So I was right. There were two guns. Yes. And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor, placed where you were sure that I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up, that's when you shot the professor with your own gun, even though at that point he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Noburudo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor in his chair around. Because, of course, you need to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he'd picked up the gun. So there you have it. That's the entirety of my misdemeanor. It's not a misdemeanor. That's murder. Your Excellency. Yes? I wonder. Might I speak with you in private later? I shall call on you. Really? That seems suspect. That's suspect. Good day then, everyone. Is she just gonna leave? Hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san. Wow, she's just gonna leave. Y'all not gonna apprehend her for murdering the dude and confessing to it? It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement? This can't be. Takatsuchi Aochi does not lose. Not to the likes of this rookie student. You better start getting used to tough opposition. Arg. Ryu Naruhodo? What? Yes? This insult to the Aochi family name will never be forgotten. How is it an insult to your name? You've become conceited with age, Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. Is he gonna pull his sword? It's the way of the world, may you never forget that. Yes, he is. He's gonna brandish his sword in the courtroom. Did he cut your top knot? 1,000 millennia may pass and still the Aochi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. What? This trial in the Supreme Court of Japan will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryu, presented an excellent case. I thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. I really don't feel like you would talk like this. It only serves as exposition to us, the player. I feel like this is a weird and awkward conversation to have constantly. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits, but what will it look like? I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Asagi. Yes? After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can, absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. The mission? What mission? I understand, Your Excellency. What is that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Ah, never mind. After you, Ryu no Suke, I think that's how you pronounce it, Naruhodo. Oh, yes? In you, I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. Will we ever gain, like, confidence, or is he always going to be unsure of himself? It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty. We got it. We got cherry blossom leaves falling from nowhere. It's awesome. This court is now adjourned. Now, was this the tutorial? I feel like it was the tutorial. November 22nd, 2:46 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Defendant's Antechamber. Number 5. I can't believe it. I can't believe what's happened. I made it. I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial. Ryu! You finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. Ha 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 ha. No, it was a pleasure to watch you at work. So, you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from the place on Yume University Street, don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. That's the professor, right? No, that's his daughter, Susato. Congratulations to the both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence. Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know? Oh no, I didn't do any. Thank you so much. If we hadn't had the research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out. Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate. Your father? Ah, yes, of course. Forgive me intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. So, Professor Mikotoba's daughter. Speaking of Mikotoba, we're going to meet him next episode. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my content, please consider a like, a comment, and or a subscribe. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.